Welcome to the Public Works Committee meeting. We are in the council chambers. It is August 3rd, 6 o'clock p.m. Quick attendance in the room. To my right, Mr. Joe Terry, Dean Veneman, Alderperson. We got committee member Matt Zacher, committee member Patrick Delaney, Mr. Joe Eichstead, and in the audience is Mr. Tom Riome and Jennifer Gossick, clerk. Item number 1, call the meeting to order. The meeting is now called to order. Item number 2, review and consider modifying the preliminary resolution of the reconstruction of 9th Ave North from Fremont Street to McKinley Street and extend the project south to 8th Ave North. Mr. Eichstead.
So this item is just a modification to a preliminary resolution that was previously approved by council. This modification is to extend the project one block to the south. It's about 150 feet, so it's a short block to include the section of 8th or 9th Avenue between 8th Avenue and McKinley. It's in our scoping review, we found that in 2005, when West Grand Avenue was rebuilt, that the project extended up the side street on 9th Avenue just past the 8th Avenue intersection. And so we'd be leaving 150 feet, this one block of road and utilities that are the same age and condition as the rest of 9th Avenue. So it was a little bit of an oversight, but wanted to bring it before the committee. So it's recommended to approve the modified preliminary resolution as presented here this evening. And it's identified for construction in 2022 and will be requesting a budget through the Public Works Construction Fund in August here.
Okay, committee members, what are your wishes?
Joe, is there any reason not to do it?
I don't think so. It does impact a few more properties, but there's also the benefit of having everything new for that last 150 feet.
Am I understanding it would be being done next year anyways? You're saying we want to do it now? Is that what I understood you said?
Yeah, so initially we were proposing to go from McKinley up to Fremont in 2022. So it's 9th Avenue, in essence, is a identified project for 2022. We just want to extend it one block, and it's a short block, 150 feet to the south, down to 8th Avenue.
Okay, thank you.
To me, it makes sense to knock it out right away. I don't see any reason not to, being that obviously the road will be tore up and might as well take advantage of it while we're there. So I will make a motion to approve the preliminary resolution of that from Ninth Ave North, from 8th Ave North to Fremont Street. Do I have a second?
I second.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor and a second. Is there any more discussion or questions? Okay, we'll take it to vote. All in favor, respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, item number 3, consider approving a preliminary resolution for the reconstruction of Apricot Street from 11th Street to Broadway Street and Broadway Street from Apricot to Franklin Street. Mr. Eichstead.
This project is also being proposed for construction in 2022. It's primarily a surface-related project that started out because of identification of groundwater that's surfacing up through the curb and gutter and the road surface, which has led to premature failure of the pavement and curb and gutter on stretches of this project. There are a few additional items that would need to be repaired or that we would look to repair along with the project. There's a significant retaining wall along the north side of Apricot Street between Broadway and 11th Street. Due to its age, condition, there's some safety concerns and it's causing impacts to the sidewalk and the roadway. So we'd look to repair that, or replace that along with any other utilities that need to be repaired, and the installation of drain tile to intercept any groundwater prior to it impacting the road structure. And then we'd resurface the street as necessary. So with that, staff would recommend approving the preliminary resolution for Apricot Street from Broadway Street to 11th Street, and from Broadway Street from Franklin Street to Apricot Street.
Committee members, what are your wishes?
I had talked with Mr. Is it Eichstadt? Is that how you say it? This afternoon. I had also stopped down at the houses here that are going to be impacted. And you can see on Broadway, there's like a spring on the other side of the road that is bubbling up water over there. Now, I had stopped by last Friday, which was the day after the storm that we had here. Well, 2 days after. So, because that happened Wednesday night. And it's still coming up over on that side. The guy that lives on Franklin and Broadway, he said that there was an old drainage ditch that ran underground that came somewhere on Broadway and it ends in Gaynor Park. And then when I had talked with the lady just down the road on Broadway, she had said that they have a leaky basement that had started about 3 years ago. So she was told by the city that there was some sort of broken pipe, water pipe, something. Joe had said that they had investigated that and haven't found anything because has everybody been down there to this place?
Not recently, no.
There's it's about a 25-foot drop into this area, so you are going to have quite a bit of runoff. Everything kind of goes right down that way. I'm just wondering if we have some sort of blockage underground that is not going to be solved by road repair.
Mr. Terry?
Yeah, a couple comments related to that. Part of the design objective of this project is to install some underground drain tile along the project to aid in collecting any groundwater that is trying to permeate to the surface. So that's part of the scope of this project. For those that have been kind of following the capital improvement plan over the last number of years, this was not a project that we had identified previously on the CIP. And this one developed over the last couple of years for the water issues, but also for the wall along Apricot Street, and due to a request by the water utility to try to minimize some of our projects that included water main, because they're going to be working on some raw water main improvements and spending some dollars there. So that's one of the reasons why this project is moved up, for that safety issue of the wall, and because of, we just haven't been able to determine exactly what's causing this, this spring. When we did test the water, and it does have some fluoride in it, which from my past history is suspect that it could be a water leak. But Waterworks and Lighting has, investigated around the water towers, ensuring us that they don't believe that's the case. And so in the design process, being able to install some drain tile on the east side of Broadway and the south side of Apricot, we'll be able to capture that water before it gets across the street and before it gets into, hopefully, some of these basements. The drain tile isn't infinitely deep, but it should make us for a significant improvement. So it's not just the street resurfacing. We're really attempting to mitigate the issue that's causing the street to deteriorate more rapidly than it normally would.
I understand that. My concern is that you have an old drainage ditch that goes from Broadway over to Gaynor. Do we have any maps on that? Do we have any, is this just hearsay that this guy says that there is one there? Is there any way to determine if there is one there and if it's blocked or?
Yeah, we don't have any issues with the storm sewer flowing in that area, and, I mean, there's no, nothing kind of hidden underground or anything like that's on any of our system maps.
Do we know what the approximate age of the existing retaining wall is, and do we know if there was any drain tile installed at that time?
I know there is existing drain tile along, I think it's along the south side of Apricot and the east side of Broadway. And it is still flowing, but there's a significant volume of water that it is intercepting, and if it has lost some of its efficiency over the years, or undersized, or both, that's leading to some of the issues. As far as the age of the wall, I'm not certain. I would guess it was installed with the rest of the utilities, but I'd have to take a look at our records and see what dates those are.
Any other questions? Hearing none, committee members, what are your wishes?
I guess I do have, I guess, just trying to follow what's being said here. Like, we're trying to, there's a bigger issue here that hasn't been necessarily solved, and this is something we're hoping is going to solve the problem. But we're not really sure that this will solve the problem because we still don't know where the water is coming from.
So the first step in any project for the city is that preliminary resolution, other than the capital improvement plan, just defining the general scope of a project. Once the council approves a preliminary resolution for a project, that allows me to authorize the engineering department to begin work, survey work, design work, and that's when these questions end up being asked and answered through the design process. Without a preliminary resolution, and it's happened in the past, the engineering department will start working on, projects that staff feels are in the best interest of the city, and all of a sudden, the city doesn't necessarily approve that project. Any of that design work is shelved. It's not an efficient use of time for staff. And so we like to try to go through the formal process step by step so that once that preliminary resolution is passed, if it's passed, then we dig into it and figure out what the issues are, how much groundwater is there, at what depth, and then the engineering department will design and size a drain tile system, whether it's perforated storm sewer pipe, whether it's a small 6-inch drain tile, whether it's 4-inch drain tile, whether it's 12-inch. They'll be able to do that work and know that work is money well spent.
And we'll, at that point in time, if WWLC needs to be called in, they'll be called in to say
Absolutely.
this is what's going on.
Correct.
So really, we need to pass this resolution for us to be able to dig it up and figure out what's going on.
Correct. Yep. This is our first formal step in design and investigation on our project.
Well, I agree. Something has to be done. It's bad down there.
Yep.
And the lady said that in the wintertime, it's just glare ice
Right.
over there from that spring coming up. So something has to be done. I just don't know if road repair in and of itself is going to fix it. But with the drain tile, still don't even know if that's going to fix it. Because there's something that is going on that we don't know about.
Yeah, it could be a natural spring because of the difference in elevation. It could be some other water issue, but like I said, being able to further investigate and come up with a solution, in order to do that, this is the first step in that process.
If it's a bigger issue, will it be brought back to us, or is it something that will be handled according to what needs to be done after this resolution is moved forward?
So the resolution allows us to begin that design work. And once the design work is moved forward, then the engineering department will make a recommendation on the scope of the project, put together a project budget. That information will be reviewed in the next several months, at budget time, at which time the council's got another kick at that cat to decide whether or not this, that we've got it right or not, if we want to do this project, if there's something more important that comes up, that type of thing. So yeah, it's nothing is automatic moving forward. This is the preliminary resolution is the first step. There's some policies that the city has for notifying residents that, look, if the council approves preliminary resolution, staff notifies residents that, hey, this is a project that we're going to be doing some design work on, potentially construct in 2023 or 2022, and it, we get that information out so residents can plan accordingly and prepare as well.
Then I will make a motion to approve the preliminary resolution for Apricot Street from Broadway Street to 11th Street North and Broadway from Franklin Street to Apricot Street.
I'll second.
Motion on the floor by Zacher, seconded by Mr. Delaney. Any other questions or discussion at this point? We'll take it to vote. All in favor, respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, item number 4 on the agenda, review the DPW activity report for the month of July. Mr. Terry.
So due to some staffing projects and vacations, I don't have that report for you today, but I will have it, and as soon as I do, it will be passed on to the alderpersons and published on the website. But I would like to share some correspondence that I sent to the street department on July 23rd, just to recognize some excellent work and make you folks aware of it. If you haven't seen it already, you can check it out for yourself. This is to Paul Vollert, supervisors and staff, from myself regarding manhole adjustments on Chestnut Street and Baker Street. Over the years, adjusting manholes that result in both a good ride and can be serviced with snowplow equipment has been a challenge. I found a letter back in the mid-1990s wherein Mayor Virginski challenged the Public Works Department to do better. Over the years, various methods have been tried with inconsistent success until now. I'd like to thank all of you and recognize the excellent workmanship on the recently adjusted manhole structures on Chestnut Street and Baker Street. The ride quality is fantastic, and I'm proud of the vision demonstrated by management and execution by staff performing the work. Every one of them look as good as they ride, and I'm extremely proud of all of you. While the methods used may not be suitable for all manhole installations or adjustments, it is apparent where these recent methods are applicable, near perfection is the result. Thank you for your dedication to public works service and to the city of Wisconsin Rapids. Keep up the good work.
And we did have a discussion about this, I believe, at the last Public Works meeting. Sounds like a really, really innovative attachment that we're using for a skid steer, I believe, to pretty much hole saw around these manhole covers, and then you're able to get a good flush pour in, or pour it back in flush with the existing surface, which really allows for a great ride. So, great job. Okay, on to item number 5, review the referral list. Mr. Terry.
So the referral list is in the packet. Don't have anything at this point recommended to add or subtract. We do have some projects that continue to be in effect. Item number 1, the request from Alderperson Rayom to discuss the future of 8th Street. Continue to have discussions with the DOT, and I'm expecting some communication back by the end of the week on potentially some maintenance activities, not just on 8th Street South, but all of the cities connecting highways that are going to need some significant maintenance work over the next several years. Number 5, that that speed study along Chestnut is, has not been forgotten. We are, at this point, waiting till fall, once school activities in that area are in full swing to continue that study. And obviously, number 7 is underway. I don't have anything new for you this month, but depending on the work between staff and Attorney Schill, we may have something for evaluation at the Common Council meeting. Item number 9 and 11 are also items that we continue to work on. At this time, that's not the highest priority for us. That'll most likely be a little closer towards fall, once our construction projects are getting close. And obviously, if there are any new referrals, we'd like to get them on the list.
Any committee members have any referrals at all?
No.
Just have one thing I'd like to add. I don't know if this would really be a referral or not. But when they redo roads, talk to many community members, they think that it would be a good idea to bury the power line and the cable so that we don't have these. It would help with power outages and also help for safety for the line workers. Also, you know, it's, the road's open, it'd be a perfect time to do it. Is there any way that we could have some sort of resolution that if a road is opened up over a block or 2 blocks, that the waterworks and lighting and any other cable utilities would have to bury their lines at that time?
Mr. Derry?
So for the non-municipal utilities, that answer is no. The city doesn't have control. The utilities have a right to utilize the right-of-way for, for their infrastructure. But the city can kind of say where it needs to be. But as far as any redundancy or replacement, we do encourage coordination, project coordination, and that generally happens. We Energy Solaris Charter generally coordinates with our work. It's much more cost-effective for them. The city does charge degradation fees if they have to tear into a street, and there's an exemption from any of those fees if they're doing work on their stuff after the preliminary resolution is approved. That's just really to encourage that type of activity. Waterworks and lighting is governed by that commission, and I know that they do have long-range plans for some overhead, some underground, and again, that's not something that the way the ordinances are written right now, I don't believe that's something that we could force, is that redundancy. But certainly there could be some discussions with some of the supervisory administrative staff with Waterworks and Lighting to have those discussions.
There's been a lot of talk. I mean, if you go back into the records, even into the 90s, they talk about beautification projects and stuff like this. And I just think what better way than getting rid of all those poles and lines that are hanging from them. That's just my 2 cents.
Any other referrals? All right, with that, I will move on to item number 6, which is adjournment. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second. So we have a motion to adjourn. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. We are adjourned, 6:24 PM. Thank you, everyone.
Goodbye.